are live. I am sorry for the technical difficulties. Apparently, I cannot watch the game when we are streaming. Meaning I cannot watch the game when I'm behind the scenes. So even though it's on mute and all that kind of stuff, so we did have some technical difficulties to start off the show, but it's okay. I do need everybody to do me a favor, though. Please, I need everybody to do me a favor. Since we had the technical difficulties, do me a favor. If you're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, hit the share button, please. It really helps us out because when the technical difficulties happen, it really just messes things up. So please do me a favor. Hit the like and share to some Facebook groups, subscribe on YouTube, share it to your Facebook. We'd really appreciate that. But nevertheless, we are here. It's time to go. We do have a good show in store for you tonight. However, is as I say every night, as we always do have a good show. Name, image, and likeness has about 5 hours before it goes live, 5 hours before a collegiate athlete can make money on his name, image, and likeness. Guys, this is going to affect college sports, not just college football. It's going to affect all of college sports around just everywhere. It's going to be interesting. We have to talk about it. How does it affect LSU? What guys and or girls make money off their name, image, and likeness? We will talk about that. Everyone joining the show on YouTube, it is in a slight delay. This is why I do need a not a co-host, but a what do you call those people? What do you call them? Not a co-host, but a producer. We'll talk about that. Some name, image, and likeness stuff. Let me say this. I do have some inside sourcing tonight. So if you want to hear some inside sourcing stuff, some stuff I'm hearing, not just from LSU, but around the SEC, talking to a couple coaches around the SEC, do us a favor. Let your friends know about it. We'll talk about what I'm hearing and how name, image, and likeness is already affecting recruiting and already affecting guys on the team. We'll talk about that. What position group is LSU separating themselves football-wise? And Ryan Ramczyk from the Saints gets paid. We will touch on that as well. But before we get started, let's get to some of these comments. Nookie says that he blames Moscona. Okay. That sounds pretty good. Ryan Gitter says Blake is in the house. Seth says, and we are live, that we are. We might be bringing Seth on as a intern. We'll see how that goes. Derek says we are live, that we are. Kenny says Derek Stingley is next. That he is. And that guy is going to make a buku amounts of money in name, image, and likeness. A whole bunch of it. We are monitoring the College World Series as the Dogs. My name's Caroline Fayard, and I'm from Mississippi State University. Go Dogs. Hey! As the Dogs are up 3-0. God, I hope a lot of people don't want, Mississippi State to win. I don't like Vandy. I don't like anything about them. The Preppy Boys. All right, let's do this. Let's pay some bills around this thing. Let's pay some bills, and then we'll get to your comments. We'll continue to talk about name, image, and likeness. If you have thoughts about name, image, and likeness, put them in the chat. We'll discuss them, as it looks like Mississippi State's going to get out of that inning. So it's going to be bottom three, State still up 3-0, and they got a no-hitter going on. Betnor has a no-hitter going on. So put your comments and thoughts about name, image, and likeness inside the comments, and we will talk about it. But let's pay some bills around this thing. Play phone tag with Trey Varno over at GM Varno and Sons today, but they're continuing to kill it for all the AYS listeners. So GM Varno and Sons, as always, guys, go check them out. Guys, with 63 years of experience, nobody is better at doing their jobs than GM Varno and Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. Give them a call today at 225-664-9992. That's 225-664-9992. And tell them your good friend, Mr. Blake Ruffino, sent you by when you go over to 2500 Florida Boulevard in Denham Springs, Louisiana. And our good friends over at betonline.ag. Guys, with mobile betting now in the state of Louisiana, you need to go over to BetOnline. You need to sign up, and you can do all your mobile betting from betonline.ag. With the summer months heating up and football literally around the corner, there's nobody better at serving you than betonline.ag for that mobile betting. So if it's going to be the next tip-off, the next pitch, the next football game coming up very soon, 68 days away from kickoff for LSU, get signed up today. Get ready. Go to betonline.ag. Again, that's betonline.ag. All right, so let's get this thing started. God, I'm going to have to go back into YouTube and change all that. Damn, that's the one thing bad about technical difficulties, man. Now, after the show, I'm going to be working my ass off to fix everything. Got to delete and stuff like that. Or no, I said 68 days. Henry says 66 days till kickoff. Well, there we go. Kenny Russell says, good question, Blaine. Ask Blake when he comes on. Blaine Smith does ask, female athletes about to get serious money off of name, image, and likeness. I'm not going to say they're not going to get serious money. What I will tell you is that LSU does have gym athletes and girls who have a very huge following on like Instagram. They have, I forget the girl's name off the top of my head, but she has 2 million followers on Insta. So, yeah, I mean, let her make a small post. Let her wear something. Let her do something. Let a commercial play on her Twitter or on her Insta. And guys, it's gonna explode. It's absolutely gonna explode. So yes, I do think that you're going to be able to do that. And let's not act like schools are not going to turn a serious profit with this. Now, the NCAA did come up with some standards. Now, there were some questions about this in reference to name, image, and likeness going into effect tonight. People said that the governors in the states that haven't signed name, image, and likeness, that it doesn't matter. That's not true because the universities still have to go with state guidelines, and that bill's not passed yet. So there are some schools that are going through that. I do believe that all the rest of these governors are going to sign it because of the fact it's a recruiting issue if you don't. I have no issues, no worries whatsoever at all in reference to name, image, and likeness not being passed in all 50 states. That's going to happen. Maybe outside Alaska because I don't know of a college team in Alaska. They probably do have some, but I don't know of them. So you're going to have this passed. Now, there are some schools that are going to come out of the gate. They're already going to do things. So here's some sourcing that I've talked with coaches around the SEC. I had a coach at lunch today in the SEC tell me very vividly that they're already, like legitimately already mentioning that people are already mentioning about people getting endorsement deals. It's going to be a recruiting thing. Guys, if you and people say, oh, well, these kids can't get cars. They can't go to a car dealership. I know of an athlete right now that things are in the works for those kinds of things to go on. Guys, if you think that kids aren't going to be able to get money from restaurants, if they're not going to be able to get money from dealerships, maybe you get a car because it's not the NCAA said, and some of these states do have rules. It's only about what you do in the competitive nature. You can't go to the extreme. So Bill Hood, who's a local car dealership here, I'll give them as an example. They have Cam Jordan, who used to do advertising with them. I think he bought and in exchange they got 2 Camaros. So hypothetically, let's just say Derek Stingley does a commercial for Bill Hood. Does that not mean Derek Stingley gets 2 Camaros? I mean, that's what the profit margin is. I know that a lot of people are upset about name, image, and likeness. But guys, it's the 21st century. We got to adapt. I mean, schools and the NCAA is a $1 billion business with a B, $1 billion business. The only way that the NCAA is a $1 billion business is only due to the fact of the athletes and what they do on their fields, their courts, their diamonds, in gymnastics, the swim meets, the track field. That only comes because of the simple fact that athletes are on that field doing it. It always has been. It always will be. Schools have been profiting off of kids and their name and their image for a very long time. Guys, the highest grossing sold jersey in 2019 was the LSU jersey with the number 9 on it. Who do you think that? Don't give me Marcel Brooks. Don't give me that. Well, Blake, it could have been Marcel Brooks. How do you determine? Come on. The Heisman Trophy winning Joe Burrow was the highest selling sports jersey in college in 2019. So let's not act like for a simple second that he wasn't the reason that jersey was getting sold. It's going to be a dog-eat-dog world out there. The only thing, and I mean the only thing that I am worried about from a kid's perspective is the simple fact that I don't know if they know how real businesses worked. I don't know if those kids really understand what it's like to be across from a CEO who has 30, 40, 50 years of experience and is a multimillionaire and what he wants to do. I don't think that the CEOs and these companies are going to screw over people, but you best believe that there's going to be one time, and it's going to be all over social media, that a kid gets screwed over. You know that. I know that. It's coming. It's coming. Now, I do hope for these kids' sakes that they do hire some of these firms to be, I don't want to say act as agents, but to help them out in the process. Guys, it doesn't, what's crazy is that I come on here for an hour every single night, around an hour every single night, 5 hours during the week. That's not a lot of time. To me, it feels like a lot of time because I'm working behind the scenes. It's really not that much time. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Man, Rocker's getting rocked. All puns intended there. All puns intended there. Daniel Dees says Smitty missed out on MasterChef sponsorship by a year. Yeah, he has. Yeah, he did. Guys, teams are already going and recruiting kids. And look, recruiting is a dirty business. Recruiting is a very dirty business. If you think for 1 second, and I'm already hearing it, that kids that are going to be recruits, kids that are already on teams, and I'm using Derek Stingley because he is the most profitable guy on LSU's team right now. Do you think that there isn't stuff going on right now with that? I'm not insinuating for Derek Stingley, but guys, in 5 hours, it's over with. The NCAA can't do shit about it. They can't do shit about it. Now, the universities are going to have to come up with laws and ways to do this, but I fully expect it to be okay, or it to be going through soon, very soon, for the state of Louisiana. I have absolutely no issues with that. A lot of people saying my internet provider is Rudy Poo. That it's not my internet, it's the streaming service. Craig Schilling says late submission for hashtag Rudy Poo of the week. Yeah. The streaming service. Look, I don't mean this in the wrong way. Sometimes when you get a lot of people to join in to the show at once, it will kick off one of the social media sites. If it would have been Twitter, I just would have said whatever. The simple fact it was Facebook. I mean, and that's one of our biggest platform. I couldn't do that. Ryan Thibodeau sends us $5 on Super Chat. We appreciate him doing that. He says they're going to need agents for money management services. They're going to need that. They're going to need CPAs. There's a lot of things that these kids are going to need. They've never been in this situation before. Guys, 5 years ago, I was never in this situation before. Running my own business, growing my own business, now getting sponsorships that you see and you listen to every single night. Guys, I've learned things. I've learned things about, hey, I actually got to spend money so I don't have to pay so much to Uncle Sam at the end of every year. And I don't mean that in a cocky way whatsoever. It's just the truth. Guys, if, hey, AYS needs water bottles, we writing that some gun off. Daddy got a drink. And I'm not talking about the brown water neither. I'm not talking about that brown water. So it's already happening. I'm going to say this. And a little sourced and a little not. Meaning no one has told me this definitively, but they've beat it around the bush. If you think that tampering's not about to happen with name, image, and likeness, you're outside your damn mind. You're outside your damn mind. There's no hiding it anymore. You do not have to give a kid $50,000 in cash to his family and be very secretive about it when I'm just going to use a random name. Mr. Gaddy's can sponsor Zach Pearson and give him $50,000 for a sponsorship. There's no more of that. There's no more underneath the table. I did have someone ask me today if they thought this would change things for Will Wade. Absolutely not. The TCU coach just got popped. And I think a 5-year show cause. That's not, no, it's still going to do, Will Wade, if they find anything, they'd still pop him. This is still going to affect Will Wade. Brian and Annie Pinton. Now, Brian, you had some choice words for a guy today. Now, Brian, won't you put those words in the chat? Not going to read any of your questions. Put the things you said about Blake Ruffino today in the chat. Look, I'm going to tell you, man, if you're going to say something, people are going to let me know. Nah, I'm not going to back down. Darren says, Coach Jay Johnson flipped a commitment hours after he was announced. Number 1 shortstop in Cali. Last name is Romero. Yeah, Mikey Romero. Sure did. And I did see that Zach Arnold was in the portal. I was told, now I need to run this down, that because of players needing to leave because of 11.7 scholarships and all this kind of stuff, there is a chance Zach Arnold's going to be back. They felt like the coaching or I was going to say the coaching staff, but Jay feels good that there's a potential chance that Zach Arnold does come back. But he's going to have to apparently he needed to get his name in the portal before tomorrow so that he could transfer and he didn't have to sit out a year. So if he's going to it's not dumb by him, but we'll see how it goes. I think they still feel good that he can come back. Seth says, I think this is going to make schools and athletic marketing departments get creative and involved with billboards, commercials. Does this open up jobs for more marketers, agents, et cetera, in college? Absolutely. Dude, guys, I'm just going to tell you this right now. If you think the schools aren't going to be selling this, you're crazy. There's about to be sales jobs and marketing sales jobs for these guys or that LSU is going to provide. They're going to contract it out. I mean, there's going to be so much money with this. And look, there's already so much money in this. Now you don't have to hide it. Let's not be naive. Guys, I mean, the statute of limitations is up when I was at Southeastern. Guys, we won a big game. There's $2,000 cash in my locker. I mean, if that's Southeastern, think about LSU. So let's not act like this stuff's not going on. They can be upfront with it. It's going to tell you how the interesting thing to me is it's going to show you the guys that were given the money. Right? Like you're going to know very quickly who your biggest boosters at LSU are. Very quickly. And not just LSU. You can't hide the money no more. The days of underhand dealing, in my opinion, are going to be done. You're still going to have your underhand deals and all this other kind of stuff, but I do think that you'll have some of it, but you don't have to hide it anymore. If you're going to pay a kid $50,000, $20,000, $25,000 underneath the table and just to come to your school and and he doesn't have to do anything but go out there and play, what do you think these people that own businesses are going to now ask for that $25,000? Hey, bring your happy ass to my place of business, put a shirt on, say yippee-ki-yay, and let's both make money. That's what they'll do. That's exactly what they're going to do. Trey Vedrine seems to be pretty upset. Trey, I'm sorry that you don't like the name, image, and likeness, but guys, you don't have a choice anymore. You don't have a choice anymore. I'm sorry to tell you, but you don't have a choice anymore. Blake Doucette says, hashtag ask Blake with Arnold hitting the portal. Does he know that a lot of Arizona players are being recruited and going to follow Jay? No, I was told that look, I was told that you have to get your name into the portal before tomorrow, and if he is going to transfer, and if it would have been after July the 1st, he'd have to sit out and all this kind of stuff. He just putting his name in the portal. Doesn't mean he's not going to come back. Does not mean he's not going to come back. Travis says, I'm dying to know about the pitching coaching hire. It's so important. Yeah, I am too. Look, I'm going to be a little honest. It's a little quiet. I mean, and the crazy thing about that is that I don't think Jay knows enough people for things to leak yet, right? Like, he's not telling boost. I mean, he might tell some boosters and some people, but, Alex Milazzo needs to be careful with his job. I was told that he's got a plan for bringing another catcher. So, I mean, look, what's funny about all of this is that he doesn't know enough people for shit to leak. Isn't that funny? The reason you don't hear stuff is because he's not telling anybody anything. The AD's office is done with the search, so they don't really care about it anymore. Really funny. Blaine Smith says, no, guys, I don't think it's buffering. We're not buffering on YouTube. I can see it right here. Yeah, I can see it right here. 16 people watching. That's great. On Facebook, 79 people watching. And on Twitter, 17 people watching. So, hey, Blake's not bigger than Moscona. Same numbers again. Same numbers, dog. I mean, you can suck it. Ain't that right? Brian, I think, said that today in one of the chats. Oh, Blake, her. All right, let's see. Justin says SMU did this in the 60s, so not new. Everybody did it. Everybody did it. Dion Black, what's up, Dion? He said if they're making serious money, they can pay for school. Not necessarily. That's not how this works. You're going to have the school is going to pay for these kids to get a scholarship to go play there. That's what the part of this is. Hey, it's like a business. It's like a job offer. Hey, we're going to pay $30,000 a year, not a semester, but a year. We're going to pay $30,000 a year for you to come play football here. We'll give you commodities. We'll give you food. We'll give you this. We'll give you that. It's a job offer, guys. You can't. The crappy thing about that would be is, oh, well, he's making money, so let him pay for school. No, he's coming to play school for you. So let's take the school out of this. Let's take the $66 million that LSU made for winning the college football playoff. Guys, they could pay for scholarship. Joe Burrow generated more money, was the most generated more money in 2019, where he could have paid for every scholarship was paid for because on the name, image, and likeness of Joe Burrow for 5 years at LSU. And let's not act like the schools aren't going to be making money. The schools are going to make more money. Here's a crazy thing about that. A crazy thing about this. If you think these schools aren't going to be making more money, guys, because let's just throw this out there. If I have a jersey and LSU's selling it and LSU says, hey, look, we're going to give you 50%, because we got to put up all the cost. We'll give you 50% of the jersey sale. We'll keep 50%. You don't have to do anything. You think that kid's not going to push his jersey sell out? Come on, guys. Schools are making way too much money, Dion. Way too much money, and they're going to be making more. Mississippi State might win this game, y'all. Mississippi State might win this game. Kumar Rocker's just not on his best stuff tonight. He's getting rocked around. Kenny says, I agree with Blaine. LSU will have to start making a NIL staff to handle this for the university. Yeah, they're going to have to make a staff. There are already talks about making a staff for name, image, and likeness. They're preparing for this. I mean, there's a lot of things that they got to do. But, guys, let's not act – here's a crazy thing about this, too. Let's not act like they didn't know that this was coming. I mean, guys, they've had more than a year. They've had more than a year to get a point about Will Wade. No, the TCU coach got popped a couple days ago. I mean, they're going to find a way to pop Will Wade if they can. They haven't been able to do so. I appreciate Ryan again for sending some money via Super Chat on YouTube. Dion says, hashtag Ask Blake, do you think they should start paying for their own college now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Guys, you're still making money as it is 4-0 to Mississippi State. Rockers is getting – he's just not on this good stuff. That's going to be runners on first and third, one out. Mississippi State might win this thing, y'all. Mississippi State might win this thing. Tiki Taki Taco says definitely keep buffering. It is buffering, but keep going. I don't know why it's buffering. Guys, I'm sorry. I had no idea why it's buffering. Maybe it's just the technical difficult. I'm sitting here monitoring. I'm not even watching the game. I'm sitting here watching YouTube just to make sure we're good. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need. I need an intern. Oh, there it goes. It just buffered. Paul says, yes, it keeps buffering on YouTube. Guys, I'm sorry about that. It's just a technical difficulty tonight. I mean, it kicked us out of Facebook. So I'm sorry about that. So nothing I can do about that. Matt Bricker, who hosts our Thursday night AYS Fight Club show, says, do you think the days of the Cinderella teams will disappear? Your smaller schools and markets can't shell out the money like a Texas or Florida, et cetera. Yeah, I think it's over with. And I think it's been over with. And here's the crazy thing. You're expanding the college football playoff, right? Like, do you really – I mean, I get that there's only a limited amount of spots. But the kid that stays at the hometown team, if a kid goes to Virginia, why would a kid go to Virginia Tech and make less money when he knows that he can come to Louisiana or Alabama and make more? It makes no sense whatsoever. None whatsoever. So that kid that you might have not been able to get from Virginia before, now you're legitimately giving him money, and he doesn't have any fear. Guys, I'm sorry about YouTube. StreamYard, stupid ass. I'm sorry about that, guys. I wish I could fix it. Did they just pull Rocker? Yeah, it looks like they did just pull Rocker. God, that stinks. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, and so Matt, I think it's gonna only hurt the smaller schools. I think it's only going to hurt the smaller schools. There's no way around that. Charlie says the separation between haves and have-nots is only going to get bigger. I agree with that. He says you can't tell me Alabama and Ohio State and even Miami is arranging boosters who will shell out bucks for five-star kids. Guys, I mean, I was talking to J-Boy today, and we had a good conversation. And when we were conversating back and forth, by the way, y'all need to go check out his podcast, follow him on the J-Boy Show. And he brought up an interesting point. How do you think Florida State's already doing it? I mean, these schools that are going to be implementing this, I mean, they're already recruiting great because they know it's going to happen. Rob DeSantis, I believe, is the governor. I mean, they signed that thing very quickly. Florida was on the forefront of getting name, image, and likeness passed, and Florida State is already prevailing in their recruiting class. Mike Norvell hasn't shown that he's a good recruiter. I mean, look, I get Florida State is a good tradition, but they've even shown with Willie Taggart and last year's Jimbo Fisher, they're not a good recruiting school. They haven't been for probably 7 years. Go look at it. Go look at the athletes that they recruited. Yeah, Marvin Wilson, but he wound up turning to be a bust. But Florida was on the upper echelon of one of these states that passed name, image, and likeness, and look what's happening in the Florida State. So I agree with Charlie there. I completely agree with Charlie there. As Chris McElvain comes in for Vandy. Yes, indeed. This buffering shit's bothering me. Can't do anything right. All right, let's do this. We're going to take a very quick break. Stay tuned. We'll get to more of your comments. Stay there. Don't go nowhere. Let's pay some bills around this thing, and then we'll be right back. And none better than our good friends over at moinkbox.com. Guys, again, you buy a box, it's free bacon for a year. Why wouldn't you do it? moinkbox.com. Guys, go over to moinkbox.com today, and when you have your purchase, put the /believe, and you're going to get free bacon for a year. Guys, I've tried all of their specialty meats. The ribeye, the fillets, the chicken, the salmon, everything that moinkbox.com has available, you can get today, and it's so delicious. It's so good. Made some last weekend. Go to moinkbox.com /believe right now. You'll get that free year of bacon. That's 1 year of free bacon for free. Limited time offer. Great specialty meats. Frozen when it gets are really cool, and frozen some when it gets to the door. You got to check them out at moinkbox.com. And also our good friend, Mr. Richie Roche over at Roche's Lawn and Landscape, 225-937-7220. That's 225-937-7220. Want the best looking yard in your neighborhood? They will provide it for you. And our good friend John Patton over at GMFS Mortgage, buying a new home, saving money that mortgage you have now, or even doing that cash out refi. The timing has never been better. Get in touch with John Patton from Area Home Lending today. Again, that's 225-614-1234. GMFS, they're changing lives. Okay. Let's see. Larry says, my YouTube isn't buffering. Do you think the fact that these kids are making money, do you think it will make them less hungry? I don't know that. I think, it's kind of like I'm going to tell you a story. Well, let me just say this. Do you guys know how the Eskimos used to hunt wolves? So what Eskimos used to do is they would take a spear and they would cut and they would slice their hand and they would dip it in blood. I know, very crazy, but they would dip the entire spear in blood. And what they would do is they would stick that spear in water. And since it's so cold outside, they would let it freeze. So then they would stick the spear, stick it right in the middle of just anywhere, and wait for the wolf to get there. When the wolf would come up, it would start licking the I guess, ice cube, the bloody ice cube. And when it started licking it, eventually it would melt down. It would get to the spear. Well, when it started tasting the blood, that spear would cut the tongue of the wolf. But by that time, the wolf doesn't realize that it's tasting its own blood, and then it would die. I say this to say this: when there's blood in the water, when you start making money, you start getting incentivized to do stuff. So, for example, if there's a contract that says, barring injury or barring whatever, you have to play 13 games at LSU to get this contract, meaning you have to, however they do something like that, I think that there will be incentives because business owners aren't stupid. I think it would make some of these kids more hungry to go out there. If you're doing an entire bowl season, you will go out there and try to make some money because you don't have school. It will incentivize them, I believe, a little bit some. Now, maybe some kids, maybe not. Like, hey, I got money, I don't have to do anything. Maybe some lazy kids. So I do think you have some of that, but we got to realize that a lot of these kids and football athletes, guys that are so good and get to that level, are normally hard workers, and I'm sure they're going to want to work hard for more. Guys, you might have a situation where kids that don't, if they're not in the third, the truth is, and no one's really talking about this, I wonder how this affects the NFL and the NFL draft. The reason I say that is that what if a kid gets $150,000, $200,000 to come back? And he stays in school for his final year, especially if he was going to be third, fourth, fifth, sixth round pick and can come back, make money, and then see if he can rise his draft stock. That's going to be more interesting for college football and where it may help college football. Because Devontae Smith will win a Heisman. I don't care that not Jerry Jeudy, Jalen Waddle got hurt. Well, Blake, Devontae Smith would have never won it if Jalen Waddle didn't get hurt. The truth is he did get hurt, and he won the Heisman. So I hope that story is a good one. I think there's blood in the water. Nookie says the mild buffering is much less annoying than the whistler. That's true. That's very true. We're about to be out of here. We'll keep it a short show tonight. Seth says, I understand they have the assets, man, but they have the product on the field and they draw to use it. Tiger fans and LSU as a whole is a better draw. That's what I'm trying to say. Yep, I agree with that. Brandon Reese says, I can't imagine what college basketball coaches are going to do with the name, image, and likeness situation. Nike is going to get involved. Guys, it's going to be – again, I've still yet to see a couple of things. I've yet to see a good reason why college football should expand. Oh, well, Blake, it gives everybody an option. Those teams are getting beat down in the regular season. Number two, the issues with name, image, and likeness. I know that there's some concerns. Are there issues? College, sorry, I mean, to LSU and all these colleges and universities around the United States, suck it up, Buttercup. Well, we can't make our money. Shut up. Like, some of these individuals need to be punched in the face. Oh, well, kids shouldn't be paid when they're getting paid. Like, punch them square in the jejunum, bro. Couple more. We're going to get out of here. Chris Barnhill says, hashtag ask Blake for everybody who questions the size and money purse of the LSU fan base. I just don't understand. I'm in the Air National Guard in 2018. My unit flew to England for training. There were more LSU fans over there than any other fan base. It wasn't even close. We had an LSU pep rally on the plane on the way home. That's pretty cool. That's actually really cool. Chris Barnhill also brings up an interesting point. Notre Dame is independent in college football. I think that they're going to force, because that Notre Dame can never get a 1 seed in the college football playoff. I think they're going to force them to go into a conference. Also, don't underestimate Catholics. The Catholic faith is a business, and you about to see some stuff from Notre Dame. Kids that normally probably wouldn't go to Notre Dame, come on, man. It's Jesus' school, man. Kent Jones says, if you go to Twitter, it's not buffering there. Yeah, or Facebook. So Charlie says the business owners will absolutely force kids to sign contract. It's not going to shell out that kind of money without some kind of contractual obligations. Absolutely. And again, does that help? Can you pay? Can you do stuff to keep kids here? Guys, it could be good from an academic standpoint. The pressures, think about this. The pressures of not having to leave school. Let's just say Derek Stingley makes $100,000 as a freshman, $100,000 as a sophomore, $100,000 as a junior. He's making more money than you are. He's making more money than I am. He's making more money than a lot of people. Maybe not everybody, but you get what I'm trying to say. And maybe not a little bit more than me, but still. But you get what I'm saying. He's making a lot of money. That could incentivize a guy like that let's hypothetically, that guy's going to be a top 5 pick, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you can fully understand what I'm saying. This could be good for college football in its own right. Bird says Catholic faith is huge business, like $1 trillion industry, scam too, but just my opinion. I'm not going to go scam. I mean, name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. I'd never say that. Absolutely not. But it is that, come on, man. Come on. I am never going to put my faith against the Catholic Church. Father Abear, where you at? Holla at your boy. All right, a couple more. We're going to get out of here. Remington Pierce says, is there going to be a cap like in the NFL? No, there's not going to be a cap. But there is. But see, here's the thing, Remington, there's not a cap on endorsement deals. I mean, they're not putting caps on how much money guys can make in endorsements. No, there's not a cap. Brandon says, as long as the players still put in the effort, we'll be getting paid. I'm good with it. I agree there. All right, guys, let's do this since we've had some technical difficulties. Let's get out of here. Let's regroup. Let's get back in there tomorrow night. We will see you guys soon. Let's go watch the College World Series. You guys have a good night. We'll see you soon. Sorry we had the problems, but hey, at least we're here. We'll see y'all soon. Have a good night.